This resource explores group work, also known as teaming. We will discover why group work is used. We will discover different types of teams and look at the stages of group formation. The most common difficulties for group work are discussed, first focusing on the group itself, and then the people that comprise the group. We will explore a method for group conflict management, and then discuss general tips for successful group work. Most college-level study has some portion of group work required. The workplace is becoming increasingly group-based. Why is this so? First, consider the problem or activity itself. Many problems are simply too difficult for any one person to solve alone. Also, many problems require more work than a single person can realistically complete. Beside the more complex problems that teamwork can solve, there are individual benefits to teamwork. As mentioned, work in the real world is becoming more team-based, and therefore, skill at teamwork is a marketable skill you should seek to develop to move forward in your chosen profession. By working in a team, a problem can be viewed from the different perspectives of each team member. The ideal is to seek synergy, where the total group effort is greater than just the sum total of each person's skills. For example, suppose Al is a good writer, Bonnie excels at public speaking, and Chandra has considerable researching skills. A presentation created by that trio has the potential to be truly remarkable, because each person's skill set complements the others. Different types of teams are formed for different reasons. You may be most familiar with a formal team. The members of a formal team are assigned, usually by someone in authority, like a teacher or manager. These teams usually have members with similar backgrounds. They are in the same class, or work in the same department or group for their employing firm. For a college, recruiters would make one formal team, while general education instructors would make up another formal team. Like the name implies, special project teams are created when some special project must be completed. They are similar to formal teams in that membership is usually assigned. However, the members of a special project team usually have different backgrounds to take advantage of the members' different perspectives. For example, an automobile manufacturer may create a special project team to develop and produce an affordable electric car. The group would likely have members from various departments, including engineering, marketing, and accounting. Self-directed groups are not supervised by an instructor or manager. Instead, they are responsible to manage themselves and the other members. They must work to keep all parties involved and on task. Another more recent form of work team is a virtual team. These are groups that only meet online, staying in touch through email and/or video conferencing. They have little or no actual physical interaction. They may live and work in different regions or in entirely different countries. So you have been assigned to a group, or you joined voluntarily. What can you expect from the process of becoming an effective group? Groups go through 4 distinct stages in their formation: forming, storming, norming, and performing. The first stage of group formation is the forming stage. At this stage, the group members are first introduced and have no vision for the group's purpose. Little work gets completed, primarily because the group members are learning about each other. The second stage of group formation is the storming stage. As the name suggests, this stage is characterized by conflict and power struggles. The group is just starting to find its purpose, but the members are trying to find their way and ensure their voice is heard. As with the forming stage, little work gets completed. At this stage, the lack of production is due to the interpersonal conflict. The next stage of group formation is the norming stage. Here, the group sets their ground rules and finds ways to work together. The group finds its purpose. The members seek compromise and mutual gain, and the group becomes more productive. The final stage of group formation is the performing stage. Here the group has ironed out all the wrinkles and focus on the work. The group has a clear direction. This stage is characterized by harmony among the members and great productivity. An additional stage called adjourning occurs when the work is done and the group disbands. Groups rarely work smoothly to be immediately productive, especially in the early forming and storming stages of formation. The problems that lead to the lack of productivity come from two sources: the group dynamic itself and from the people that make up the group. The group may seek to rush to accomplishment. This means that they just want to be done and not have to do any of the hard background work. Research is glossed over, and the finished product is sloppy and poorly formed. Two additional problems groups face boil down to a lack of focus, floundering, and wanderlust. Groups that flounder cannot focus and create a distinct purpose and vision. Work is done, but real progress is not made. For example, the group may design and redesign a PowerPoint presentation, changing the theme and slide transitions, but never put any information on the slides themselves. Groups facing wanderlust are distracted easily by tangents and other digressions. They discuss non-related topics instead of focusing on their work. One final problem faced by groups that actually appears in the norming or even the performing stage is groupthink. In groupthink, the members lose their individuality and lose the ability to question group decisions. Each member becomes so immersed in the dynamic of the group that they become yes men or lemmings and simply follow the group. Groupthink can be avoided, but it is hard. One suggestion is to have someone act as the devil's advocate, whose sole purpose is to question the logic of group decisions. Sometimes the problems faced by the group come from the group members, rather than from the dynamic of the group itself. The first problems are related and are often characteristics of the team leader. Either they are an overbearing expert or they are a dominating participant. Overbearing experts think they know everything and will tell you so, at great length. They immediately discount any contrary information. These quote-unquote experts often become dominating participants. They monopolize group discussion. They are the person that wants final say in all writing and editing. This is not beneficial for the group, because group work is designed for all members to learn and grow. The polar opposite of the dominating participant is the reluctant participant. They do not add anything to the discussions, and likely do not do any work they are assigned. They look to fade into the background, and are often the first to cede to groupthink, just so they don't have to have any original ideas. Sometimes a group will have a member that does not appear to fit into the collective personality of the group. This member may have their ideas discounted or outright ignored, even when they make apt comments. For the group to be most effective, you must work to ensure that all members have a voice and a role in the project. The worst possible problem for a group is to have feuding team members. This often leads to a schism in the group and effectively halts any production. The next slide considers a process for conflict resolution. The key to effective conflict resolution is communication. The opposing parties must maintain open dialogue so they can work toward a solution. This process is aided by asking a series of questions. First, what do you want? What are your interests, and what do you want to get out of the group work? Next, how do you feel? Describe your feelings about the conflict and your desire to move past the argument. Then, what are your reasons? Explain why you feel as you do. Give your underlying reasoning. Keep the focus of the discussion on the specific problem at hand. After that, what is the other person's viewpoint? Make sure you understand their point of view and their reasoning. Next, how can we both win? Seek solutions for mutual gain. You will need to compromise because no solution is likely possible if you insist on complete control. Finally, what should we do? Reach the wisest and best option so you can put the conflict behind you and return to being a productive and effective group. We have looked at the reasons behind using groups to solve problems and complete assignments. We looked at various types of teams that are formed. We looked at the normal progression of stages that groups go through as they form. We looked at some factors that prevent groups from being as productive as possible, and also at ways to help minimize the effects of the inevitable conflict. We will finish up by looking at some general tips for group success. First, remember that all the people in the group have other responsibilities and studies. Their time is precious. You need to make sure that your team meetings, whether in person or online, are well planned out and organized so that the team can have the most productive use of their time. You want to stay focused on your topic. Don't allow the group's attention to wander or go off on tangents. And finally, make sure that each group member has a specific role. This helps to ensure that all group members are invested in the project. This helps engage the reluctant member and keeps the overbearing expert in check. Hold each other accountable for their work, and your group will be a success.